have reviewed a 5 Series before here on Behind the Wheel. It was a 520i Sport, if I'm not mistaken. And on that episode, we went through the history of the 5 Series all the way from its inception back in '72 to the 7th generation G30. And we were trying to figure out just exactly why it is that the 5 Series is the benchmark when it comes to mid-sized luxury sedans. We were also able to figure out that hard work truly does pay off, and not just for the potential buyers of the automobile, but for BMW as well, who continue to push the 5 Series to make sure that it maintains as the benchmark for this particular segment. Today we have the facelifted 520i Luxury, a life cycle impulse, as BMW likes to call it. And so we're gonna go through the changes in the exterior, the interior, some of the tech. We'll go out for a drive, and I'll also show you the 5 cool things that I love about the 5. Do you need help purchasing your car insurance? Head on over to AutoDeal.com.ph/car-insurance. Here, you can compare prices and customize your insurance coverage from many of the Philippines' top providers. When you've selected the insurance that's best for you, simply fill out the application and complete the transaction with ease through Visa, MasterCard, GCash, GrabPay, or PayPal, and receive your policy within the next business day. Get the best deal on insurance with AutoDeal. As it is a facelift, you'd expect updates to the front clip, and it's very true. Whereas the previous grille looked like kidney beans and they were separated, now it's joined together to form somewhat of one large nostril. The configuration of the adaptive LED headlights are new too. It's a much more sharp and aggressive look compared to the sleeker layout found in the old one. Down below, you have chrome trim on each side that actually acts as a vent to push air towards the side. And you might be wondering where the fog lamps are. They're actually within the headlights themselves. Pretty nifty, huh? Kind of like a Mazda. The chrome garnish up front continues down the side with accents found around the window sills. You also have repeaters on your side mirror, some even more chrome accent found down here. And then you're looking at 144 millimeters of ground clearance. The tires, these wheels are 18s, which look very, very good. And they're wrapped with P0s. The size of these P0s are 245/45s, and they're run flats, which is very important because if you're Max Verstappen or Lance Stroll from Baku last year, you won't worry about them blowing up on you in the straight. You know, the last time BMW was in Formula 1, Ferrari was actually up on top. The good old days. Now they're just giving you hope, and then they take it away from you. Now at the rear, the tail lamps definitely have a new configuration, but not only that, it also has some black accents. Now, against the white, this configuration doesn't really work for me. I thought it would look better on a darker car, but Jack, who wrote this script, absolutely loves them. I can't believe you made me credit yourself, dude. You are such a self-absorbed. Down below, you've got a free-form exhaust, as BMW likes to call it. There's 2 of them, 1 and 2 over there, and a little bit more chrome garnish found on the rear bumper. When you open her up, you are looking at 530 liters of space in the back of the 520i, which is actually quite a lot of space. The opening will not allow you to put a balikbayan box inside because it's quite small, but other luggages of whatnot size will definitely fit in there. Unfortunately, you can't expand on the 530 liters of space because the rear seats don't fold. There is also a function when you're carrying heavier items that you can wave your foot underneath the bumper so that it closes, but if you can't be bothered to do that, well, there's always the button in the back. The first thing that you'll notice when you step inside the rear seats of a 5 Series, or this particular 5 Series, is that you sit actually quite low, thanks to the fact that the seat is actually angled. That's one. Second is that it's actually pretty long, so the thigh support is actually pretty darn good. However, I will say that I wish I could recline the seats just a little bit, like the way that you could do in a Camry, for instance. Oh, by the way, we don't necessarily have a review of the Camry, but we have a pretty detailed walk around, and I'm sure that the link is either down below or on a card somewhere up here. So anyway, back to the BM. The seats, very comfortable. You don't feel claustrophobic. That is very, very important because there's a lot of light that comes in. Speaking of light, you can change that fact because some of the toys include privacy shades for there, and I don't know if you can see this, but on the side as well. That's actually nice. There's not a lot of toys back here if you compare it to, let's say, for example, the BMW X7, because that's got a lot of toys. And if you'd like to see a review on the X7, we also have a review on that. The link is somewhere down below or up here. It's actually a pretty funny video. Well, everybody knows I got caught speeding. Do we really have to show that clip again? Okay, fine, show the clip.
Speeding po, sir.
Anyway, back to the 5 Series. The toys back here are actually pretty impressive. You've got 2 air vents here, air controls and temperature controls, and then you've got air not just coming from the center, but you've got air coming from down below and also on the side, on the pillars, on the B pillars. This actually kind of reminds me of a Volvo. Oh, and here's the thing. It's not just temperature controls. These are climate controls. So you've got climates for up front, and then you've got climates for back here too. That's actually quite impressive. And then underneath that, you've got 2 Type-C charging points and, of course, a 12-volt socket. And lest I forget that in the center, you do have an armrest with 2 cup holders that pop out of nowhere. And for even more privacy, you've got a rear shade that is electronically operated. The headroom is actually quite good, even though I've got fuzzy hair right now. It's actually quite large, and that's thanks largely to the fact that you're sitting at a very good angle. The legroom is also good if I'm driving, but when Jack is in the driver's seat and he is a little bit over 6 feet tall, the legroom can get a bit tight, as we're demonstrating right now. So the thing is, if Jack is driving, somebody of my size will definitely fit behind, and if I'm driving, then somebody of Jack's size can definitely sit in behind. But if you're talking about 2 people that are close to 6 feet tall, driving and as a passenger, that might be a little tight. Unlike the bottle holders that are found inside the car, because they actually are pretty large, able to accommodate even large bottles as such. A cool feature and a breeze to get into the proper driving position is thanks to, my God, Jack, you're really a tall person. Oh, that goes down automatically, by the way, is thanks to memory seats, which I can just push a button and then get back to my normal driving position. Now, the biggest changes here up front definitely have to deal with the fact that there is now a massive 12.3-inch infotainment screen, and not just one of them, there's 2 of them, because there's one right here for your instrument cluster. And they both look absolutely fantastic. It really gives it a very wow factor and puts it up to speed, since modern cars' dashboards are like 90% touchscreen now anyway. Oh, and there is also a little screen down here for your climate controls, which is really a very nice touch. The iDrive system is responsive, and it's pretty easy to operate as expected. You can use either the touchscreen or the iDrive controller to operate it. You get wireless CarPlay and Android Auto as well. I really like the ability to really personalize the car, from setting individual drive modes and preferences for things like lighting, inside and out. Among other several features, you just can adjust to your liking. What I'm not so fond of is the fact that it's such a large screen and yet there is no 360-degree camera. I mean, cars with like 1/3 the price of this have those cameras. Here, you only have a reverse camera, unfortunately. What I do like is the fact that on the steering wheel, there are nice buttons. It's not overly put too much. It's just the right amount of buttons, because you have your cruise and then your audio controls here, including your phone controls. And I also do like the fact that the dashboard is actually very good to the touch. Even the door cards are nice and soft. And then, yes, unfortunately, yes, you do still have some piano black plastics that can be found in high touch areas. But the main difference from the previous generation is that this used to be all piano black. Now it's called ash wood. It's got somewhat of a grain to it. It doesn't feel good to the touch, but when you just look at it, darn, it looks good. It's kind of like Jack. You don't want to touch him, but he just looks good by himself.
What's that supposed to mean?
Don't nod your head. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, your parents feel the same way. Oh wait, before we go out on a drive with the 5, because I've got so much to drive, I want to show you the 5 cool things that I absolutely adore about the 5 Series. Just like the 7 Series, this 5 Series also has an active kidney grille, which is to say that these slats actually open up to let air in when the car needs it and then close for better aerodynamics. What you normally find on more expensive BMW model vehicles, here you can find in this luxury 520 is soft closed doors. Pretty cool. Number 3. Yes, we all know it's a touchscreen, and yes, we all know that this is a knob to control the touchscreen, but it is also a pad, a touchpad. So I can actually use it to write stuff, like let's say for example,
V.
Not V, U.
Delete. U.
P.
P. E. R.
Super.
M. A. R. K. E. T.
This is taking forever. But it is pretty cool. Number 4 and 5 cool features are actually, well, they work hand in hand with one another. Number 4 is the fact that this has a Harman Kardon system. There are speakers all around the automobile and they sound awesome. Number 5 is that, well, when your favorite song comes on, the cool thing is that you have gesture control. So you can just simply do this. Oh, hey, that's a bit much. Don't worry, it's copyright-free music. We can afford it. Let's go for a drive. Under the hood of the 520i up front, you will find a 2-liter twin-power turbo 4-cylinder that produces 184 horses and 290 Nm of torque, mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, yes, I do understand that some of you were probably expecting a 6-cylinder. I mean, this is a 5 Series after all. True, I kind of was also, but I have no complaints about the smaller displacement engine because, truth be told, that's actually where manufacturers are leaning towards to. Smaller displacements with turbo power. Now, even if it isn't a 6-cylinder, it actually does have pretty good power. It's very linear, and at the same time, it has very good fuel efficiency figures too. Inside the city, it gets about 10 to 12 kilometers per liter, and on the highway, much better with its legs, it gets 20 kilometers per liter. Now, even with that great fuel efficiency, it does not mean that the motor is sluggish. No, not at all. It's actually pretty peppy. I mean, it can do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 8 seconds. I could show you, but that really wouldn't be the very responsible thing to do. What I can do is give it a test and see how quickly it goes from 50 to 100 kilometers per hour. A bit more practical. 3, 2, 1, go. Stop. Ha! 6.07? That's quick. Even for a 2-liter twin power. Nice. 8-cylinder, oh sorry, not 8-cylinder, 8-speed automatic transmission. We were on Sport. I know a lot of people were gonna probably ask, were you on Comfort or Eco Pro? No, we were definitely on Sport. The pull was pretty good. Earlier, I did mention that it does not have a 360-degree camera, which to some, it may be a bummer. To me, it's okay, but truth be told, it's actually quite important because, well, this is the benchmark and more cheaper automobiles actually have that kind of function. So shouldn't this car have it? Another would be cruise control too. It does have cruise, but it doesn't have adaptive cruise. Even the base model Civic has adaptive cruise. None here. Now, to other people, it's very important, yes, and I respect those opinions. To myself, I'm not a big user of adaptive cruise. I prefer having more control over the automobile. But the point is, in this automobile, at that price point, I think it truly should be standard. When you do hit the highway and hit 100 kilometers per hour, it's actually very well behaved, it's very well planted, and it's actually also very, very quiet. Even the tires, which are P0s and run flats, you'd expect a little bit more tire noise to come in. There is, I'm not saying it's zero, there is, but it's very well behaved. And the fact that the tires are 245s, they're so wide, inside the automobile, it doesn't feel flat-footed. It's still actually quite agile. NVH is fantastic, and seat comfort is great too. So much so that I think that it would be a really good car for long drives. Short of being a GT, it being a sedan, very well planted, I think, yeah, long drives inside this automobile would be absolutely great. If we weren't stuck in traffic on the highway on a Friday. Jack, was this your idea? We could
Also
have...
a payday.
It is a payday. Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah, we're gonna be here a while. When you are on said long drive and not stuck in traffic on the highway, but rather on twisties, I gotta tell you that the steering is actually very well weighted. The response is actually very good, and body roll is actually very well maintained as well, whether you're on twisties or not. It doesn't dive down when you hit the brakes to slow down to a crawling pace, and it doesn't exactly look up at the sky when you accelerate. It's very nice. Some might say that it's actually a sheer driving pleasure because it's a BMW. Huh? Huh? Come on, man, that's funny. Ay, salamat. As we finally accelerate out of traffic, I will tell you this, that it's definitely no tire shredding monster. That's for sure. I mean, it's not like it's an M5 with Clive Owen behind the wheel and Madonna in tow. No, not at all. But for a sedan of its size, truthfully, it carries itself very, very well. There are many mid-sized sedans you can get in the country. They stem from Japan, such as the Mazda 6 or the Camry or the Accord. None of them, however, I gotta say, have ever been regarded as the benchmark when it comes to this segment. And that's exactly what the 5 Series is. Granted, it's not as affordable as the cars that I just mentioned, but it is more affordable than its German counterparts. The 2022 BMW 520i Luxury comes in at 4,290,000 Philippine pesos. If that price sounds familiar, it's because the previous model was also that exact same price, and yet here you get all the updates without an increase. Truth be told, that price is actually a bargain for those with an executive-sized budget.